everyone. Thank you for joining me once again for another book review. I appreciate your presence so much. If you would be so kind to go ahead and click the like, share button, I would greatly appreciate it. So, this week's book is called Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. Let me show you the cover of the book because I actually have it this time. I actually have the cover of the book. So that is the interesting cover of the book. It makes you say, what is that book about? So, this story is about a woman named Covey and her secrets being revealed after her death. Covey started out her life as a precocious minor in a two-parent home. Covey had friends, family, loved to swim, and was looking forward to her future abroad. Covey's life began to change when her mother, Matilda, up and disappeared without a trace. Covey had hopes that her mother would come back for her, but that never happened. Covey was left under the care of her father, Lynn, and her mother's friend, Miss Pearl. Lynn was a business owner and somewhat respected in the community. Lynn was looked down upon by some due to him being Chinese and Matilda from the islands. So this was kind of like an interracial relationship, and not everybody was for it. They had difficulty in their relationship, and Lynn's gambling didn't help matters. Covey grew up into a young woman that loved to swim. Covey had great plans to enter into a long-distance swim contest with her best friend, Bunny, and leave the island for greater opportunity and education. This plan was altered when Lynn's debtors came a-knocking. Lynn basically made a deal with his debtor that the man could marry Covey as partial repayment for his debts and continue to work in the stores as an employee, no longer as the owner. Covey was outraged by this and knew Lynn's debtors were the sort that wouldn't hesitate to kill them if they didn't comply. Covey was set to marry this man, and once again her life was flipped upside down. Covey has since led a life of secrets and regrets, which all came out in her letter and video to her children after her death. Covey's children, aka B and B, Byron and Benedetta, hope I pronounced that right, aka Benny, learned they knew next to nothing about their parents. During this unraveling of Covey's life story, they were shocked and confused by what they found out. They learned their father was in on the ruse and never said a word before his death occurred years before Covey's. I don't want to give the story away, so I will let you read the book to find out how everything unfolds. The title of the book is referring to a cake Covey's mother made, and she had then since passed down to her daughter, Benny. The cake was like the link to Covey's past, one of the things she held on to for all these years. This cake is a part of Covey's heritage that she displayed every year for her family. It was a tradition for her and Benny to make this cake together. This was a story about sacrifice, love, family, and secrets being kept for the safety of said family. Although Covey had good reason to reinvent herself and keep her past locked away, her children are now at a loss. There was so much they didn't know about their parents, and not only having to come to terms about their death, but the revelation that they indeed had living relatives. So some of the revelations Covey provided in her letter and video to her children explain some things that happened in her children's childhood that they didn't understand at the time. Now the children of Covey have to figure out how to pick up the pieces and what to do about the information revealed. I jotted down a couple of passages from the reading that I would like to share. Number 1, are you going to let someone else's view of who you are and what you should be hold you back? Number 2, in life, you should just catch the wave and ride it. Number 3, you can't win if you don't play. All right, so I hope the author is thinking about making a part 2 of this story. I would definitely like to know what happens next for this family and more about the residual effects these secrets have on her children's lives. There weren't many triggers in this reading. There was mention of a non-traditional relationship status described and the parents' reaction and fallout with the family members. There was death described in the book as well. But that's really all I could kind of come up with for triggers. The story does flip between the present and the past. I would like to hear more about the other characters' roles, thoughts, and actions regarding the events mentioned. However, there was a small portion, but I myself just wondered about why the characters did what they did and wanted to kind of know a little bit more. However, the story is being told by Covey's perspective, so it's understandable that the author didn't really dive into the other participants in this story. The author remained true throughout the writing to convey Covey's perspective and truth about what transpired in her life. So, there are some topics that could generate from this reading. Obviously, family secrets and how they affect those involved directly or indirectly. Coping with the death of a loved one. The topic of family grudges. I remember a saying that went like, births and deaths are things that seem to bring estranged family members back together. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't within this book. You'll have to find that out by reading it. Another topic is, how well do your children know you? Do they know you? Do you got some secrets? And if revealing those secrets would help or hurt your children, would they be able to learn a lesson? Would they look at you differently if you revealed your secrets? Is it even necessary to reveal your secrets? Should they even know that much about you? Why people keep their life secrets? I mean, obviously, a secret is not a secret if you tell people. So, the topic of adoption and why one may choose or be forced to give up their child. How easy is it to change your identity, and under what circumstances would you do so? In this book, it seemed fairly easy. I mean, back in the day, they didn't have, the technology that we have now and all the identifications and forms of tracking a person. So I think back in the day, it would probably be very easy to change your identity. You could just pick up somebody else's identity rather easily. can really do that so much now. But maybe you can. Talk about it. And the last one is, would you be able to end someone's life, and for what reasons? Yeah, get into that. All in all, this is a good read. I listened to the audiobook version, and the narrator kept me engaged, kept me wanting to know what was going to happen next. I do believe, though, if you read the physical copy, you will be just as engaged. Personally, I often listen to audiobooks so that I can do other tasks at the same time. Sometimes it is just not feasible to sit down and physically read a book. Also, it helps me get through more books because if I just had to only sit and read the physical copy of a book, it does take up quite a bit of your time. And with audiobooks, you could, do your household chores, you could, do your, errands and whatever, and you can still get the content of the book without having to sit in one spot and do nothing else but read that book. So I encourage people to listen to audiobooks for those reasons. If you are a fairly busy person, audiobooks would probably be very helpful for you. If you are a traveler, obviously audiobooks, listen to it in the car. I used to commute to work, and that was one of the things that kept me sane on those highways, was to listen to an audiobook. I got my reading in. It was great. So just some recommendations. Audiobooks are just as wonderful as reading the physical copy of the book. I will say the narrators can make or break a book. They can either give it life, or they can, snuff a little bit of the life out, because, there are some narrators that need more practice. But with all that said, great book. Pick it up, read it, find out what the secrets are, find out how the children handle it, and how all of this goodness unfolds. I have no real critiques of it. I loved it. It had a good flow. It transitioned between past and present fairly well. The only thing is that I just want to know what happens next to the people. I just want to know. You got me invested, and I want to know what happens next. So I give the book a 9.5 out of 10. So pick it up, read it. Tell me what you think in the comments. Share your thoughts and perspective of the book, if you so choose. I would be very, very, very thankful if you would subscribe, click like, share, invite people to view this book review and the other ones that are available. I appreciate you viewing the videos. I definitely appreciate your comments, and I wish for many, many more to come. So, until next time, keep turning the pages, my book lovers.